I think that sounds wonderful. And then when that's over, you can feel free to see you soon. Okay. All right. Are we?
Johnny, I believe that we are.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, we are live already. Hello.
Yeah, my mistake. I was trying to get everything set up. It's changed around a little bit. Restream's a little different, so it just went straight to live.
That's okay. So it's Thursday, January 20th, 2022, and Police Accountability Board meeting for tonight is it's already started. You guys just walked in the middle of it, and so we are super excited tonight. We are going to go ahead and start with a couple things. Give me just a second, since we jumped right in. So we have our introductions we have our board members with us tonight. We have Board Member Brown with us. We have Reverend Nikoloff with us. We have Board Member Perez. We have Marina, one of the clerks, with us tonight. We have Rabbi Settle with us tonight. And we have Dr. McIntosh with us tonight. Dr. Bob will not be here, and Vice Chair Tucker will not be here tonight. So before we move on, though, I wanted to introduce to the public our new PAB liaison, Councilmember Kim Smith. We are really excited to have you as on our team, and we are excited for you to come on. Really, the reason why you're here is because we advocated to have somebody that was going to be able to talk about the things that really affects the PAB in City Council. And so really excited to have you here. And I know that we will be continuing to meet. And as soon as we get that schedule established, that'd be great. But just having just a brief introduction.
Great. So as you all know, and as Shawnee mentioned, my name is Kim Smith. I think what's most relevant and important to me in this moment, as I take a moment and look at all the faces on the screen, what I recognize is that I have seen many of you in action in this community. And so it is my honor to be in space with all of you. I am a fan of your leadership, Shawnee Wilson, as well as the PAB. I remember when the PAB was developing, and I volunteered constantly to take out brochures, knock doors in the community, to make sure that PAB got the vote. I am sorry. The other piece is I remember being in the space during the election as they put out the results of how the vote went for the PAB, and being in that space and seeing all of that excitement and experiencing all of that excitement. And now to be in space with you, putting in time to do the work with you, it's my honor and my privilege. And I thank you all for welcoming me.
I'm also muted. Thank you so much, Councilmember Smith. We look forward to working with you. And so really, we're just here just to briefly introduce you to the public. We're not going to ask you any interrogating questions or anything like that right now. So we're going to leave and for another meeting. And then when we would be happy to have you come back. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and move on. We have, so we're going to go ahead and approve our minutes from January 6, 2022.
All right, I will get those up.
And then after a brief review, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a second and then a motion to approve. Motion to approve in second.
Slow on the draw because I moved everything around this morning into the OneDrive.
Connie, the Chair Wilson, the only thing that I saw was under committee report. There was just a spelling errors. I don't know if anybody caught that already, but instead of the majority of job committees, it says Joe. It has an E at the end.
Okay.
That was the only thing that I saw.
Thank you, Mayor, very much.
Thank you. Okay, that. Oh, welcome, Reverend Harvey. Okay, where could we
Everybody.
go?
These were passed out to the board earlier this week as well. A few more seconds, and then I'm going to set out a motion to approve and then looking for a second.
So moved with the one correction.
Great.
Second.
Thank you so much. So with the spelling error and all in favor of approving the minutes for January 6, 2022. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Motion does pass. Right, next on the agenda, we're going to get a staff report. Executive Director Reynolds.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Councilmember Smith. It's wonderful to be with all of you. It has been a interesting and productive last few weeks. So folks, if folks can just remember that PAB staff are working not in the office. We've been out of the office since just before the winter holidays, thanks to Omicron. That's been very important. I am 100% certain that it has saved an outbreak at our offices. And I want to thank the staff for being very flexible and working regardless of this. I know it's been stressful for a lot of people. Seems like everyone's family has someone coming down with it. I'm just very happy that we're able to help keep our employees safe. I know that we will be revisiting that out of office policy soon. But of course, as of the present moment, PAB does not have enough seats in our current office because we have been successful in hiring a significant number of people. And so obviously obtaining office space is a top priority for us. And that is a good segue into my next section. Chair Wilson, I don't know if you'd like to report on the meeting with council leadership. I'm more than happy to talk about it in my section.
You can go ahead, please.
The first Friday of January, Chair Wilson and I had our first meeting with the new council leadership, President Miguel Melendez and Vice President Mary Lupian. I will say that was one of the best meetings that I believe Shani and I have both had in our time working with PAB. Council President Melendez just made very clear that a priority for his team was making sure that we had the resources and support that we need to do the job. Wanting to build a deep personal relationship with PAB's leadership and to establish the best way of having council and PAB have a fruitful, open, and productive relationship moving forward. That led to obviously the appointment of Councilmember Smith as liaison to PAB. Councilmember Council President Melendez started his term by fast tracking some legislation for PAB regarding our case management software, and has been working the phones around our office space for the last few weeks, and has just done a lot of personal good and help for us in these last recent days. And I just want to acknowledge that and say how helpful that has been. And I'm looking forward to that kind of productive relationship with council and the new administration in the days to come. On Monday, Mayor Evans is going to be sitting down with Shani, myself, to speak about all things PAB and how the administration and PAB can work together to ensure that we are moving together in lockstep to get PAB up and running, to identify barriers and to help overcome those barriers. Council Mayor Evans, is looking forward to talking about a number of items with us. We circulated a preliminary agenda today that begins with reassuring different city entities that PAB is important and can be worked with directly, implementing rules regarding information access for PAB, ensuring that our training needs are met, working on funding, addressing hiring needs, office space, the new relationship with our liaison, and then having regular leadership meetings with the administration moving forward so that we can proactively address challenges and work together to identify new needs and solutions together. I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to build all these relationships on new ground. And so that is kind of the most pressing update with regards to staff. Staff are being trained, onboarded, et cetera. PAB is working very closely, folks don't know, with Empire Justice Center to develop a comprehensive language access program. We've had a number of wonderful meetings with that team. We are working with Foo Concepts, a local website developer, to make sure that our website is accessible as possible. We're working with Causewave to make sure that we have a comprehensive community engagement plan around our work. And we are also working with CCSI and local community leaders to develop a comprehensive training program for our staff. And I just want to, again, give deep credit to Rosabelle Antonetti, our Chief of Operations, for just being phenomenal in terms of getting those contracts in place, ensuring that meetings are happening, moving us forward. I don't know what we do without her. And the same with Chief of Public Affairs, Natalie Banks, who I've seen in recent weeks navigate some remarkably thorny situations around contracts and staffing, and just perform exceptionally admirably. And the last thing I will say is that we've been meeting regularly with the Jobs Committee to move candidates forward. As of today, PAB was able to get another few offers out. And I will say that there seems to be a new approach to the way that PAB's salary offers are being made, which is, we do a lot of research and work around pay equity to make sure the salary offers we're making are advancing concepts of pay equity as well as staying within our budget. And I want to thank the Human Resources Department for working with us to achieve some of those goals recently. That's a huge win for the people who are coming and working for us. And we're very excited to introduce some of those new staff members. We're hoping to do so at the next board meeting. Hopefully we'll be able to have a chance to do that, have the community get a chance to see exactly who we're hiring, show them the qualifications, diversity, and representation, and just overall remarkable nature of the people we're bringing on board. With regards to 2 items, I know that we'll talk a little bit about the disciplinary matrix. We've had staff start to look through that work. Today, our new staff attorneys completed their initial analysis of RPD's publicly available disciplinary records. I will say they came to some very, very fascinating conclusions about that data. They have finished up at a preliminary memo. They are doing some additional statistical analysis. We are bringing on board a data analyst to help with some of this work very soon. Some remarkable policy people will be coming on board. And so my hope is that at the next time the board gets together to do disciplinary matrix work, we will have a significant amount of information that we can use to move forward. The last thing I will say is that today, Mayor Evans announced that he is welcoming public input on the search for a new RPD chief. They expect that search to happen over the next 3 to 4 months. Speaking with Chair Wilson, it seems like a good idea to speak with the mayor on Monday about how PAB can be involved in that process, perhaps providing input in any way. And so I look forward to communicating whatever messages the board has to the mayor in that meeting. And so with that, I believe, Chair Wilson, I've covered the vast majority of the staff report on these items, and I welcome any questions from board members, Councilmember Smith, anyone about anything that I just said.
My only comment is evolution is a wonderful thing. Congratulations.
I'll say amen to, having good meetings and positive progress. It's really nice to hear all that good news.
It is really nice to hear good news. It's great. It's really great.
Connor, I'm glad that you're having meetings that are productive and that you are able to come back to us with good results and good reports, and not be as broken as a result of some of the meetings that you've been in. So congratulations for being able to work with the people that you're working with, and to have the conversations to be as meaningful for the city and this board, because everything that works for this board works for this city. So thank you.
I mean, we can't say enough about Connor's hard work and the work of the staff. That's been, they constantly have been, they're consistent and persistent with what they want for the PAB and for the city, and they have really worked hard to get us to this point. And so we thank you, Connor, and we thank the staff as well. So, and honestly, I mean, where will we be in 90 days, right? Things can change so much. And so, we're looking forward to getting to work. We are at work, and we're just looking forward to getting our building and really seeing some really great progress happen. So really exciting.
The last 2 things I suppose I will say is just, I remember something that a number of board members said about, well over a year ago, that it's about relationships. And I just want to say that the relationships that have been built over the last few years have what paid off. And I think that, what is very clear is that being able to have conversations about challenges before they come to a head is probably one of the most valuable things we have in the present moment. And I think that the leaders in sitting in the rooms understand that 100%, and so do I. And so what is just good about this moment is the ability to address challenges before they have to cause any problems. And that's a great thing for everybody. The other thing I will say, and I just want to remind folks of this, is PAB for a long time has been working on the rules that will structure our investigations. We do have a first draft of those rules, I want to let the community know that people have been long asking about this, is taken an immense amount of work and time to get to that first draft. The board's going to be getting input on it. Staff's going to be getting input on it. We're going to be working in partnership with the city's law department to make sure these rules get implemented appropriately. And of course, the board will have to approve of these rules before they're finalized. But that's a very important moment for the PAB. These are the rules that are going to make this thing work. And having those rules be as open, transparent, and effective as possible is going to be something important for us in the weeks to come. And so lots of the issues, hopefully, that could arise in the months to come will be resolved by having these rules adopted, implemented, understood by folks across city government. And so that's just a big moment for us. And I want to underscore that, that we're here with that.
Thank you so much. All right, so moving on, we are, so I would like actually to move the board education meeting proposals down to old business, just because we've already talked about the disciplinary matrix discussion, and that also ties into the educational portion. So for the chair report, I don't have anything new to report except for Kim and Councilmember Smith being here with us. And then also, Connor went ahead, the executive director went ahead and talked about, the upcoming meetings that we have had and are having. And so I look forward to talking about that in my next chair report. I did forward the agenda to everybody, and with the expectation that with this meeting that you'll get a chair's report that we'll send out and that we will review at the upcoming meeting that will be happening in a couple weeks. Right. And also too, for a committee report, I don't have any new reports for job committee. We actually have not met since the last time we had an open meeting. Okay. Right. So that is that. And then on to old business. So from the previous meeting, we're going to continue our disciplinary matrix discussion. So I think the first part of that be, folks, that so we've had one board educational meeting to just talk with SMK, and this was not mandatory. Just come if you had questions. And actually was really glad that I went, because I had a lot of questions on how the matrices are built. And since there was no decision making, it wasn't open to the public, but obviously we can still do that. That's not a problem. But I think that I'm really looking forward to seeing what our staff submits to us as far as data, because I think that will be really helpful in how we build the matrix or what we recommend. And I think that, it should be geared, SMK was kind enough to provide additional information, and they gathered a bunch of information on different police departments across the country and what their disciplinary matrices look like. However, our city is our city, and we have unique issues here. And so that's a missing piece for me, is just looking at RPD data. So I'm wondering if that can also be part of this discussion tonight, when we're actually going to get the data and when we can have it presented to us, if that can be a part of this discussion tonight.
What I will say is that, one of the big things that the staff found was holes in the data. For example, the data that we have is about the publicly available data is for police officers who are currently on the force, and for whom there was an investigation that was substantiated, right? So they found that, wrongdoing did occur. We also looked a little bit at court records, publicly available court records. And, there are some officers for whom there's public court records, suggesting that RPD took official action, but there's no link up to that in the publicly available disciplinary records, which suggests that, there's holes in the data. There's things that we're missing there. And so, that's just a big conclusion, is that we need full access to all of the information the city has about this, so we can come to good conclusions, which is why Monday's meeting with Mayor Evans is so important. The rules, the law says that PAB is supposed to have access to the actual database that holds all of the disciplinary records, complaints, et cetera. Making sure we have direct access to that is very important in the near term, because that's what's going to allow us to actually understand what are the real problems, what are the complaints, et cetera. And so while trust me, the attorney work has already uncovered some very important trends. making sure that we have the full data is going to be very important as well. So that's what I will say about that. And that's something we talked about with SMK at length. It's what we talked about at the last meeting. Data is exceptionally important. That being said, we already had our new data analyst do a little bit of work summarizing key points and differences between existing police disciplinary matrices. And I also hope to have that circulated to board members so folks can see differences there, key things that seem to be used in other contexts and not. And so I'll just stop there.
Okay, so I also wanted to say real quick that for those that are not able to make it, we'll make sure that the meetings are recorded. Okay, so I went ahead and reached out to Marina, so that'll be available to whoever wants it. And then also too, if you have questions that come out of recorded sessions, or if you want, reach out to SMK individually and ask questions. They're there to be able to answer your questions, and they'd be more than happy to do so. All right, yeah, okay. So educational meeting proposals. So the next, we wanted to do 2 more in the month of February. So the dates that we have in the agenda were the 1st of February, which is, let me look, that is a Tuesday, and then the 15th, which is a Tuesday. And I know that some folks can't make it because they have other meetings. But again, there's a couple of things, we can record the sessions, and if you have questions that you'd like to be submitted to be discussed beforehand in the recorded session, we can make sure that happens. And you can also reach out to them individually. Okay, but the 2nd and the 15th are the days that we will likely go with. And if those who can make it, and those who can't. But we hope that people will still reach out with questions and talk to SMK on their own if needed, and also Connor and the rest of the group. Board Member Perez.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for recording them, because I'm one of those people that won't be able to make it on Tuesdays, but I would definitely like to hear the discussion.
Awesome, thank you. And I think the thing too is, if we have more questions that come out of that, I'd love to see where we get as far as these recorded sessions and meetings. A lot of really great points came up about how detailed this disciplinary matrix should be. And a lot of that, I believe, everybody comes from the experience of those in this Zoom call, and about our individual experiences and the experiences of the people that we know. And so I think that will come out of, there are some technical things that we can understand or very well, right? And then I'm hoping that SMK can educate us on. And then there's some that we definitely have experience in, being a member of the community here. So, okay. All right. And then just trying to think what our new business was. I think the new business that I had was just discussing the board times, and we discussed everything else that you're going to discuss as far as meeting times. I don't believe we had anything else. I don't see anything there.
I had one piece, Chair Wilson.
Okay.
There are, we have lots of board committees. I would just request to maybe recommend that both the finance committee and the training committee meet sometime in the next week or two, only because it's getting close to budget season. And so I believe that the finance committee, we should all meet to talk about next steps, what's going on with that, et cetera. We've got lots of good updates in the last few weeks, including from New York State, about the money that we got last year. So we should talk about that. We should do it in public. So I think the finance committee should get together. And then in terms of the training committee, now that we have full-time people working on training, I think it's going to be important to have that board voice there to talk about how the board can best participate in this training. We're looking at, at least 6 to 8 weeks of full-time training for the staff. That's how intense this has to be. Full, and it's comprehensive. It's remarkable. This is going to be probably the most comprehensive training that government employees receive in Rochester. It's really, really something. And I want to make sure board has continued input on that, and we figure out how to plug folks in as necessary.
That's great. So Marina, can you please reach out to both of those committees and get those scheduled?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, that sounds great. So that's all I had tonight, folks. It's 7:02. We are done early tonight, and unless there's anything else, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Oh, actually, Councilmember Smith, did you have something?
I'm sorry, just one question so I can complete my notes.
Yeah.
What are your subcommittees?
Oh, goodness. Hold on. Let me get them. So we have training, we have finance. Okay. Let me write that down because we have a rules committee. We have a jobs committee. And I believe we have education. Yep. I think there's 5 total.
Training, and then there's the ad hoc executive director committee
Ad hoc
for
executive
my
director.
review.
Yep. And that's it. Okay. All right. So there's a second on the floor, and so all in favor of ending the meeting? Okay. All right. Meeting's over. Thanks, folks. Thanks for coming. Have a
Good
nice night.
Thanks.
All right. Bye. Thank you. Take
Bye-bye.
care.